Well, hello again. This is Gene Harm, bringing you another episode of Train Sim World. And today, I'm doing things a little different. I'm doing double duty, as if one of the crew called in sick, couldn't make it in today. I will be running the operations fully on my own, and it's really a way for me to discuss and demonstrate to you what that would look like if you were to do all of the operations from the first person view, almost I believe the way Train Sim World intended. So this was quite a long video, so there are some editing and clipping to keep it reasonably short, within a half hour, rather than the couple hours it took to do this. But here you will see that I am operating the train as the engineer. I have no crew, no conductor, no brakeman. I'm having to get up and get out and do everything here on my own, all alone. And a lonely day it is. There's a lot of tasks to be done. And you will notice that I will be hoofing a lot of the time. I will be hoofing it. We're at Oak Point Yard, and I want to grab a hold of this hopper and those two center beam cars loaded with lumber. And so we'll do a cut right here. And then, since I'm the only one to do the work today, I'm going to have to hoof it all the way back to the an Amtrak going by. You can kind of see that it is dangerous being out here by yourself. There's nobody else out looking out for me. I have to keep a careful eye on what's coming down the tracks. But I'll make my way back to the engine as quickly as possible. Get back on task. Climb aboard. Sit back on the seat. Okay, now take it out of neutral, put it in reverse. There we go. And release the engine brake, train brake. Give it a little throttle. And as we begin to pull back, make sure all the air is released. Yep, and as we begin to move back, hopefully I'm not dragging a whole trail of cars with me. Only the cut I wanted of the two lumber cars, the two center beam lumbered cars, and the one hopper. I am going to be breaking this into another two-part video, because as simple as I thought it would be to drop off two center beam cars and one hopper onto a different spur, it did still take quite a while. There's a lot of work to be done, as you will see, and so we're going to just be jumping along here and skipping down the tracks a bit to cut out a lot of the travel time. So we're making our way out of the Oak Point Yard and just heading on down, not too far away, to the Harlem Waste Management Facility in New York City. And here at the Waste Management Facility, we want to drop off the two center beam cars with lumber. And then the hopper car we're going to drop off on the spur in the second part of the video. So I am going to break this video up into two parts, and you can watch each part as at your convenience. Alright, so we've come down a slope around the bend, and we're almost to the waste facility. I'm not sure where to stop. One of the issues we're having now with the doing everything by myself, the only eyes I have are out the long nose of the engine. So I'll go ahead and stop here, see how I do. Get up and go on out and hoof it. And you can start to begin to see how impractical it is to be driving the engine, playing the part of the engineer, and also handling the trains on your own. Certainly time consuming nonetheless. But what we want to do is we're going to back this hopper car out into its own spur. I went way too far, but I'll kind of cut out some of the walking, flip the switch points, and make my way back. And right back into the seat again. Release the brakes. And throttle up and push it on in. Once again, get up out of my seat, see how far I pushed it, and as I come up alongside of it here, you'll notice that I pushed it right through this gate. So I had done a flyby through this gate sometime back, and ended my session and booted me out to the main menu. But apparently I didn't go far enough with the train, so everything's still good. And we'll just leave it as is, park it here, and cut this loose. And before we do, we'll apply a handbrake. There we go. Notice the center beam lumber cars, the two of them here. Neither one of them are covered with the tarp. They're just bare wood. And this is an issue I've noticed in just in the last little while, I guess, of playing through some of these scenarios. That well, we're going to keep an eye on it, but it changes its state of configuration, whether the wood is covered or not. Alright, so we got it, the throttle in reverse. We give it, I'm sorry, we got it, the train in reverse, the throttle up a little, and hopefully we're not dragging the hopper anymore and it cut loose the way it's supposed to. That's another thing that when you're by yourself, you don't know. There's nobody on the radio, there's no eyes. You just have to go with it. Yeah, it's an issue that we had actually in Train Simulator. Even Train Simulator 2018, I believe, has the issue where if you have a particular type of railroad car that has different configurations, you know, loaded or unloaded, and sometimes they switch between the configurations mysteriously, and I'm not sure what's going on. But we'll keep an eye on it and see if these two center beam loaded wood cars stay with just bare wood configuration or not. But I already know that they keep switching back and forth on me. Some of you may have noticed the same thing. Alright, I'm cutting down a little travel time here and trying to cut back on the video and see how it goes. I'm not quite sure. I have to do a judgment call every time I break the train. I have no other eyes. Park it, get out, and see where we're at, and then decide what to do. So I'm going to have to run around these two cars in order to do the task I want to do. So I want to go ahead and put on the handbrake. Climb up here. A little different when you're not using the free cam. I'm actually having to climb up. Put the handbrake on. Cut the cars. Climb back up again. Oh boy, this is fatiguing. Exhausting, I should say. Getting in and out of the seat. Take it out of neutral, put it in reverse, release the brakes, and you can see that already, and without having done only a couple, 3 moves, and already getting tired of having to do all the tasks on myself. Give it a little forward here, and a little throttle. Something's not right. It's not coming along the way it should. Let's go ahead and put the brake back on. Make sure it's put in neutral. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening. I can tell it's not moving along. The engine's struggling. It's almost as if it's fighting against that handbrake, but I'm sure I put the brake on the... Yeah, I put the brake on the lumbar car. It doesn't matter. It should cut loose. There we go. Let's try this again. And I'm telling you, this is all part of what's happening to me. I didn't script this in or anything. It's just happened to be this way. And the more you have to do, the less careful you are. And I thought I cut the cars, but you have to go back and rewind and see what happened. So it's an awful lot here, and I had to hoof it quite a ways from the engine to find that point I was looking for. I do have the engine free now. Now, while I'm here, I got another little chore to do. I have a handful of trash cars that need to be moved out of the way and stuck into another siding here. So we're going to do that real quick. Well, I don't know if it's going to be quick, but we're going to go ahead and do that. So go ahead, back, jump in the engine, hook up to these trash cars. Yeah, of course, I clipped out quite a bit of the time. Hooked into them. Put it in neutral, reverse, release the brake, and let's go ahead and pull these on out. Yeah, and I wanted to discuss a couple of the main issues that still exist in the train sim world. Of course, the one that's been probably the biggest discussion that I've been having is about there not being any life. You won't see any traffic. You do occasionally see, when you go to the Newark airport, you'll see an airplane taking off. You see AI trains. And just for fun, I did a kind of a camera view of my train going by. Of course, I'm still in the seat watching it go by. Most of this video I'm doing in the first person, but this to kind of make it interesting, I wanted to go ahead and get a little break from the first person view. It's getting a little tiresome, but we'll push these cars into their own siding here, and I went ahead and dropped them off. cut out all that work and just now running around these two center beam cars. Yeah, so there's not much life, of course. Like I say, occasional airplane. There's no traffic out on the streets. You do see passengers coming and going in the passenger stations, but you don't really see anybody walking around the yards or anything like that. It's lifeless, it's dead, and probably the number one thing that is criticism of Train Sim World from the community at large. You do hear birds and sound effects and stuff, of course, which is kind of nice. So I've done the run around, I've done the switch. I spared you all of that hoofing and perspiration and all the getting in and getting back out again, because there's going to be plenty of it to come. And just doing these couple cars. I can find my seat again. Let's see what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, before I go slamming into this and doing the rock'em bock'em sock'em, I want to make sure the knuckle is open in order to receive and couple up to the cars behind me. I'm just going ahead and checking that it is unlocked. So have to cheat a little, put the HUD up, because I don't have a rail hand to feel and make sure it is unlocked. So we'll pop it again here. There we go, and we're now unlocked and ready to receive. I can climb up back aboard again, and you could get a real sense of tediousness of this doing double duty, all on your own here, doing the engineer, jumping in and out. And in a sense, I wanted to do this video because I almost believe Train Sim World set it up for us to do it this way, and it's not the way it should be done. And that's why I offer the alternative workaround by using the free cam view to play conductor, in order that you can do all these tasks without ever getting out of the engineer's seat and getting the conductor's perspective, and yet still having full control of the operation of the engine. Now, if they wanted to give us the ability to get out and get on our feet and walk around like a conductor and actually be squishing gravel beneath our shoes, then they need to offer us the ability to have that first person view on our feet, with still the ability to operate the engine while we're off and on our feet, which we can't do right now. So as I walk towards the back and physically get off the train, making sure everything's coupled up, make sure the air hoses are together. Obviously they kind of do that in Train Sim World virtually automatically for you, but want to quickly check and make sure the brakes are released. It should be the last set here. Yeah, since I'm on my feet right now, and I can physically climb up these ladders, which is fabulous. The brake is applied, I got it released. I can't hang on and ride. Oh. Look at this, my train is running away on me. I'm not kidding. I got a runaway train. And I'm telling you, I didn't script this either. I don't know. You really have to be careful when you're off doing everything on your own. Gotta do a quick run to get back on board again. And you can't make a mistake, I'm telling you that. Get back in my seat. I'm kind of in a panic mode here. And obviously I forgot to put the train brake on. And I throw the locomotive brake and then throw the train brake. The red handle's the train brake. I forgot to throw the locomotive brake on to ensure that nothing happened. But look at that. You know, if you make a mistake, you're getting up and you're getting down. And how many times you do that, and all of a sudden, boom, you got a runaway train. So that was quite an experience there. Well, for all embarrassment, since there's nobody out walking around, nobody got to see me, I can keep the shame to myself and go ahead and move along and take these two center beam cars up to the end of the yard and back them into the waste facility where they belong. Yeah, so the issue I've been talking about is, if you are going to be playing conductor and the train sim world was to give you the ability to do it first person view, not in a free floating cam view, you would need to have the ability to control the engineer seat from while you're on your feet. So here I am, I'm up out of the seat, on my feet again, and I'm going to have to go through some points. The difficulty, there's so many difficulties in doing things by yourself. One is, I don't know how far the train is. I'm still got I got a half a car to go before I'm past the point. So that's a lot of extra work, getting up and getting back down again. I'm going to have to climb aboard and go forward a little bit more before I can throw that point. And I just hoofed it all the way down towards the yard to make sure all of the points are thrown. Might as well. I'm off the train now. I might as well go ahead and throw all the switches the way I want them, so I can just back it in once I get back up there. But like I said, unfortunately, I'm going to have to get in the seat, get the engine moved forward a half a car, then get up and out and throw that one point over again. Double duty, double work, sometimes unnecessarily. Yeah, put the train. Yeah. I have to just kind of do a discretionary call. I think I got a half a car. Put the brake on. Once you make a mistake, you learn from experience. And definitely got the brake on this time. Double check it. Make my way back again. Crazy it is. Hey, now look at this. I'm telling you. So now I got the rear center beam car has a tarp over the wood. So now I got covering. I got a white cover over all that wood. And so that is definitely an issue that's going on. I don't know why it decides to do what it does, but it's doing something different. So we got that thrown. All the rest of them should be thrown from the previous walk. I get it back on board, and I'm going to have to push this back now without any eyes on the back of the train letting me know how far to go. But we're going to have to do a discretionary call and make our way. Climb aboard here. In a sense, let me sit back down again and then I'll continue to talk to you. Here we go. Put it in reverse. Release the brakes. In a sense, what I wanted to do in this video was, it's kind of fun to do this, but it is definitely tiresome getting in and out. It's double duty. It feels harder than double duty, but I really wanted to give you a sense of the ridiculousness of actually trying to run and operate a train without a crew. You really need at least one more person. A lot of the crews have a conductor and a brake person. They'll have three of them going, but most of the time you can handle just about anything as far as doing deliveries go, with just two of you. And but it is absurd really to be doing things by yourself, and I believe actually dangerous. We had the runaway train. We had cars that didn't unhook. We certainly had to make sure that brake lines and stuff were all taken care of, and we had to do all that on our own. Give it a little bit more throttle. You know, the waste management facility, it's a trash area. All the garbage trucks from all over the city come in. They dump it into this trash facility where it gets compacted and put onto the trash cars and then hauled off to a dump somewhere. But overall, what I'm trying to say is this area down here, this waste facility yard, is pretty scenic. I mean, it's along the river. There's some bushes and trees, and you can hear wildlife. You can look across the river and see the cityscape, and you kind of coming under and going over bridges and things. It's a little bit fun. It's scenic. It's a nice looking area. And you know, we have the benefit of virtual reality. We don't actually smell any trash, but there are some other businesses down here, and we can make other types of deliveries. I thought I would deliver some wood to the waste facility for whatever reason. I don't know. You can use your imagination, but there's plenty of places. I had to go take a quick look where I was, get up, get back down again. Like I said, I'm exhausted, and I'm not even doing it in real life. Yeah, I can go a little further back. I was afraid of running into the building. Well, there's actually a dead spot, a derailer, whatever you want to call it, at the end of the spur, but I didn't want to slam into that. But I have plenty of room to take this back another couple cars, so that should be about where I need to be. I'll go ahead and park them there. This time make sure all the brakes are on, because I have the train brake, but I'm going to be taking off with the locomotive by itself, so I'm going to put the locomotive brake on, and always put it in neutral. And at least when I had a runaway train, it was just coasting. It wasn't driving off with it being in drive. Now, since I'm parking these here permanently and leaving these, I'm going to go ahead and put a brake on. I'll climb up here and tighten that up. Got the handbrake going. Now I can come up here and cut the cars loose. Yep, cut those, and you can see the air hoses popped. We don't get the reality of the air hoses stretching and popping like you do in actual life, but hey, you can tell from that we're loose. We'll turn around here in a second as we throttle up and go off to make sure that we are free of it. And then in the second part, we're going to do the hopper, and that's kind of fun. There's a little industry, we can drop that off, and we'll talk about that when we get to there. So hopefully you got to see the ridiculousness of doing double duty, and we'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining me.